Hello friends, welcome back to This Is Reading Corner, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Liz and I like books, and today we are doing a book tag. I was tagged by the beautiful Sarah over at In My Granny Era, and this is actually her book tag that we are doing today, so I'm really excited for this because I love Sarah and I love her videos. She's amazing. Even though we have completely different reading tastes, I still love her videos. So highly recommend you check her out. I will link her channel down in the description below. But this is the Bookish Elements tag. Like I said, it was created by the beautiful Sarah over at In My Granny Era. There is 9 prompts, and I guess we'll just get into them. Question 1 is, how do you feel about foreshadowing or dropped hints? I am kind of on the fence for this one. I don't mind foreshadowing, and I don't mind there being like little hints about like what's coming in the story, but at the same time I also don't like it being so obvious that I can guess what's going to happen in the first couple of pages. That's really frustrating. Like, I know stories are meant to be like you're coming along for the ride and you're meant to enjoy just like the storytelling, and that is part of it, but at the same time, if I know the ending of the story, then kind of what's the point in reading the story, if that makes sense. I will deal with it if the story is very well written and if I am enjoying the storytelling, but if I find that it is like really meh and I've guessed the ending like a little bit of the way in, then I'm just not going to finish reading the book, because I'm obviously not enjoying it if I'm already flicking through to the end to see if I've guessed. Question 2, bookmarks. What do you use and how do you feel about bending the corner down? So I use everything, actually. Hold on. Okay, so question 2, bookmarks. What do you use? How do you feel about bending down the corner? So I just ran around and grabbed all of my free bookmarks. I have a lot. I use a lot of different things for bookmarks. We have like some cute little character bookmarks that my son absolutely adores. I don't know if I have tasseled bookmarks. This one is my most recent one. I got with A Queen's Glory, and I use it the most because green is my favorite color. My friend, and I love this one, or a friend of ours, made this bookmark for me. I had 2, but my son commandeered one, and hilarious. It's very punny. And then I have just like random cardboard bookmarks that have like Studio Ghibli related things, and if I can't find a bookmark, I use tabs, if I can't find tabs because I've put them somewhere and they're not where they're meant to be, I just try and remember what page I'm on, which I'm usually pretty good at, or I can like flick through the book and just find my place again. I don't bend the corners. I used to when I was like a child or when I was younger, but once I started buying my own books, I was kind of like, I don't want like dog-eared corners and that sort of thing. No judgment if you do it. I used to be really judgy about people who bookmarked their corners, that bent their corners, but no judgment now. I also do every now and then crochet bookmarks because I love to crochet, but I don't know where any of them are because I'm very, very good at losing my bookmarks, so I don't have any to show you. Question 3, forgotten bookmarks. Have you ever found anything strange in a book? The strangest thing, it's not even really strange, the strangest thing, or the funniest thing I should say, that I found in a bookmark was just a receipt for an adult shop that someone had obviously been using as a bookmark and just forgot that it was in there. I've never found anything funny in a book, unfortunately, but I guess there's still time. I do borrow library books and people tend to leave like receipts and things in those. Question 4, Inscriptions and annotations. How do you feel about writing in a book, and how do you annotate if you do? So I don't write in my books. I don't annotate in my books. I don't see the appeal in doing it. It's not something I do. I've just never, like, if I find a quote or something, I'll just write it in a notebook, or I have like a commonplace book type thing that I use. But otherwise, I don't actually annotate books or write in books. And I know a lot of people do. More power to them, but it's just not for me. 5, introductions and footnotes. Do you read them or avoid them? What makes a good introduction? I don't read introductions at all. I have, when I'm reading through the most difficult novels books, which is usually the ones that have introductions in the books that I read anyway, I just skip past them because I'm not interested in what someone else has got to say about the book. I just want to read the book because I want to form my own opinion on the book. Footnotes depends on what it is. So usually no. When it comes to footnotes, it's very situational. So some of them are kind of like required reading. So like House of Leaves, the footnotes are actually, so there's like a few pages where the writing is in like a different language, but the footnotes are actually written in English, and so that's the part that you're meant to be reading. I do have a book series, the Bartimaeus trilogy, and in there, so it's the Bartimaeus trilogy by Jonathan Stroud, and in the footnotes is Bartimaeus's like little snarky remarks about things, or like his little notes on what he's thinking. So if it's something like that, then yeah, but I didn't read all of them. It was very much like how I felt on the day. So I guess when it comes to footnotes, it depends on how I feel on the day as to whether I read them or not, or whether they're actually required. When it comes to introductions, I don't read them. Question 6. Accessories. Do you use bookish accessories like a clip-on reading light, book sleeve, annotation materials, book stand, etc.? I don't really have any bookish accessories except I made a book sleeve to protect my books when they're in my bag, and 9 times out of 10 I still forget to use it. But because I have such chunky books that I'm reading most of the time, that's why it's so big. But it fits like I think 2 or 3 small books in there, as well as like 2 big books. But that's probably the only bookish accessory that I use right now. I don't have anything. I do like the idea of the serious reader lights, but I'm pretty sure it costs a small fortune to get them to Australia, so I'm not using one anytime soon. Question 7. Art and illustrations. How do cover art and illustrations affect your reading experience? Depends on whether I look at them. If there's a map in a book, I love maps because I love flicking back to the map and sort of trying to track where they're traveling on the map. Cover art, I love a pretty book cover. That's why I got Fathom for it in the first place, because it was just because it was just a pretty cover. But otherwise it's nice to have. It's not a requirement. When it comes to fantasy books, I kind of expect a map in most of them, especially if it's epic fantasy, and if it's like something that they can do, because obviously not all of them you can have maps for, but yeah, they're more just like a nice to have rather than a requirement. Question 8. Format. Which format of books do you prefer? Hardback, paperback, audio, digital? Do you do different things for different situations? So I don't listen to audiobooks at all. I have secondhand embarrassment and it's just not possible. I've tried. I've only ever listened to one audiobook, and that was just because I didn't want to buy the book and it didn't make me cringe. But otherwise, yeah, I don't do audiobooks. When it comes to everything else, I think I prefer paperback over hardback, only because hardback tends to be like really, really difficult to open, and I struggle with anything like that because I have arthritis in my hands and it tends to make them ache, and then I get distracted and I can't read because I'm in pain. But then there's also some paperbacks that suffer with the same issue. So like the Brandon Sanderson books, some of them can be like really, really difficult to open. And also some Stephen King books I've noticed, even in paperback form, especially like the really big, like the really, really chunky ones. So like It, Needful Things, what else was there? The Stand. Like a couple of those were really difficult to hold open even in paperback form. If a book is too long and I'm struggling too much, then I will just get it as like an ebook. I do tend to read ebooks faster, which I'm pretty sure most people do. But I still prefer physical books over ebooks. If I can't get a physical book, then I'll just get it an ebook anyway and read it. And question 9 is tag some people. So I don't normally tag people. If you see me do this and you would like to do this, then I guess you were tagged. Otherwise, that is it. That is all of my answers to Sarah's Bookish Elements book tag. If you have any other book tags that you would like me to do, please let me know. If you've made it this far and you've listened to me ramble, I appreciate you. If you like what I do here, please like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.